What is going on YouTube? This is Aciders. So I'm going to review the debut album by rapper Fredo Santana. Basically this product is called Trappin' Ain't Dead and it came out in the fall of 2013. So the stuff about this particular product here is just the fact that Fredo Santana is kind of a big affiliate of like Chief Keef as far as this pitch can happen. Has some of that typical kind of mixtape drill type fare of folks like Young Chop and Murder Beats and Tarantino. Some of those type folks, Lex Luger, definitely I'd say within those tones. Good type aspects here, has a good stock amount of good casts on here, like some folks like Chief Keef and G Herbo. Some of those type folks more in like the mixtape drill type format. Good type pitch to kind of get this here. Now this cat in particular is from like the Chicago sound as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's basically just like in certain cases I want to say he's just part of the package that Chief Keef came with back in like the early 2010s as far as this first kind of happened. He seemed like he was next up on the plate as far as this first kind of particularly went. Now I want to say, to my knowledge, Lil Reese, I don't know if he ever dropped an album. He did at least drop a lot of high grade mixtapes within the appeal. Originally he was going to be the next to blow up after Chief Keef, but this particular cat came out next within that particular appeal, which is some excellent type fare, I'd have to say. Some good type tones here because this is a classic. Basically all 17 of the songs on this particular album I recommend. So it's easy enough to say this album gets a 10 out of 10 just from the pitch. It's basically like an album quality version of some of that mixtape drill that you got between like 2009 and 2014 and years like that as far as this pitch kind of went. It's a good concept, pretty similar to like the Flockavelli album by Waka Flocka. Just a complete street highlight and classic as far as those pitches kind of go. Good aspect of just consistent type of appeals. Now the thing about this particular album though is just the fact that apart from like the only single off this product, which was featuring Kendrick Lamar, the song is called Jealous. This album really didn't have that much promotion about it, so it really was more in just like roughneck and kind of this particular album was just only in more roughneck and just street album type territory as far as this pitch kind of went. But it does have like some modest kind of attempts at like some vanilla grabs within some of those type pitches, just in a more kind of commercial radio type push, but it doesn't as full bound kind of bound for within those tones. It has some of those templates that like Futures Pluto and Chief Keef's Finally Rich, some of those type tones just fresh off the appeal of like the 2012 era of like some early 2010s trap and drill as far as this pitch can happen. But this really consistently continues the drill type sound and does it within like such a vicious appeal. You would think that those particular movements would have lasted a lot longer within the pitch. Now it's not to say that it didn't within the tone, but it's just kind of the concept as far as seeing what particularly happened here is just a real aspect of one that just has some real feralness, that this is sort of concept that you probably have to look for a little bit within the tone as far as saying, just depending upon who you ask, you might think, well, rap wasn't doing that well in 2013, 2014, 2012, but then it kind of was within the same pitch. It's just kind of the aspect that this did not have as much full bound kind of commercial appeal, didn't really chart on like the Billboard 200 that well, and on top of that it didn't really have any charting singles, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying that it did have some vicious stuff aspect. This is like a pretty one. This is just the aspect if you are a thorough fan of like the Datpiff era mixtape drill and just overall mixtape type for it, 2010 Datpiff mixtapes, 2012 Datpiff mixtapes, some of those type fairs, this is just a shot in the arm as far as this pitch can go. It should just be like easy as water as far as this pitch is going to go. Just every single song on here should hit like a heavy ton of bricks as far as this pitch can have. So it's just excellent type fare, I'd have to say. I look after it here. So this to say because I recommend every album. The thing about this particular product is just the fact that 17 songs, trying to remember all these just kind of within the fare, so I'm just going to kind of burn through these off of memory as far as this pitch can go. But I will talk about the single here. So Jealous is a real nice one. As a bonus, this features Kendrick Lamar, and like after his prime era, some of his good. As a bonus, Jealous features Kendrick Lamar fresh off of his Good Kid, Mad City era as far as this pitch kind of went. He was kind of a little bit quieter in 2013, just crusting off the appeal of Good Kid, Mad City in about the summer of 2013 with some good type appeals to see some folks that fucked with him, because I don't remember, apart from like, I remember Kendrick made a big deal in like this late summer, fall of 2013 with like the Control verse that didn't wind up in any album, but just apart from that, it was just kind of the appeal that he got to this particular song. But I think he was also on Eminem's 2013 album, but just in the pitch is kind of the appeal of what he was up to. But it's a good type fare. Jealous is a nice one. It's like a hypnotic and piercing kind of dark drill bleeder, kind of get within those aspects. It's some vintage kind of early 2010s mixtape era heat. It had to say good concept, and it's like a good nightclub hop to kind of get within those tones. So just a good pitch. It's going through the motions with some of these type ones. Just understand the concept. A lot of this is just blistering kind of drill type sound within the fare as far as those aspects kind of go. This is very haunting. You can tell by the album cover that this is probably like a real ghastly and just something horror bound within those pitches. Just feels ripped out of a Stephen King book or something like that, or like a Stephen King book or like a Wes Craven movie as far as this pitch can happen. It's the real aspect of like some real shrill typeness in the sound as to how that particularly happens. It's just some good type tones within those aspects, just within getting towards it. Good type particular pitches there to this. But this particular Jealous song has a beat by Tarantino, who is also, I mean, I don't know if he full bound produced for like Waka Flocka, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks, Gucci Mane, but I would have to say I think within the tone he was kind of a next door neighbor. That particular sound of like the main ones like Lex Luger and Southside and 808 Mafia, some of of those particular type tones, TM88, some of those particular ones in particular as far as those first going to happen. But I'm glad that Young Chop is on this project, some good type. This has some very excellent productions. Young Chop, or not Young Chop, but Fredo Santana particularly went in with like the production for this product. Is very sonically pleasing and just is consistent album that just particularly nails it excellently. So it's good type pitch. Just the particular style of like the lyricism would have to say on top of that is just the pitch as far as just getting something just like Chief Keef and just a little bit more shrill and ghastly type sense. Just with the aspect, it's more particular type fare, just a little bit more fleshed out in like the particular street sound. Now Chief Keef at least tried to rise for air and get a little bit of commercial on there, but he doesn't do it as much. Just kind of more immersed in like the rooted kind of dark sounds and just overall swirls of it as far as this pitch kind of goes. So it's a good type tone for that. But yeah, every song in here I recommend. So just go through some of these. One particular one that stood out in like a real extreme fashion for me was History. Really enjoyed this one. It's like a snappy kind of in motion heater, I'd have to say, with like the feel of like a mixtape. This particular song has the feel of like a mixtape jam with like perked up kind of nightcomers. I had to say about this one, just get crunk real late as far as this pitch kind of goes. It's a good type tone for that. Yeah, I'd say History is just a real snappy type one. Just excellent type fair, just being able to get towards it, just really kind of gets you excited just within the thrills behind this, and good just frenetic type one within those pitches. I'd also say Bought a Big K is a nice one on here. This has Chief Keef on this particular song. Surprisingly, he is not on this album that much. I would have figured he would have been on here at least one or two more times within some of those type fairs, maybe done like a chorus or something like that as well. But it's still a nice tone. It's like a syrupy and hella hypnotizing kind of night push kind of get here. Just a good late run in errands and like a pulsing sense for this pitch kind of goes. So there's just some songs towards the end of this project, like Third Floor and Want a Nigga Dead, also that has some of that particular type of feel, just like that blistering kind of night commerce, just 3-6 Mafia kind of snack run type fashion, just in a more traditional kind of mixtape drill type era of like 2012, 2013. Some of those particular type of feels, so it particularly nails that vibe. So just talk about some more of these type ones. Like Third Floor has Pee Wee Longway on here. I forgot about that cat. I need to review some of his stuff, but some excellent type feels going to get this one. Talk about Third Floor, it's like a brooding kind of vintage Chief Keef styled horrorcore trap blitzing kind of get here definitely. Third Floor is like some brooding kind of vintage Chief Keef styled horrorcore to kind of get within those tones. Just some Third Floor is like some brooding kind of vintage Chief Keef styled horrorcore trap to kind of get within those tones. I have to say, just a blitzing kind of devilish dance groove about this particular song is very riveting within the pitch behind it. So just the aspect here, another real good heavyweight of a song within those pitches, but that's not really to say too much about that tone, just because every song on here really knocks the floor off as far as those pitches can happen. So it's just excellent type of appeal. Really, you should just be able to dissect this product, find like your 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 favorites off this particular product and just go in. It works pretty well for like playlists, just getting some of these immediate type ones. I would definitely say the Chief Keef song, the Pee Wee Longway song, History are some nice immediate ones, so I just say within the picture, you're just looking for like the dynamite ones to go for like a beeline for. Songs like Trap House, the Lex Luger beats, the Young Chop beats really do that, the Tarantino beats, the Cruise, but basically the whole album is just within the pitch. Just find what you need as far as those pitches can go. But just to say, Spaz Out is a nice one. This reminds me of like a more pop rap kind of Spaz Out reminds me like a more pop rap kind of Chief Keef 2012 album push as far as this first going to happen. This vanilla and presentable commerce as far as this pitch is going to happen. So even though this album didn't chart in terms of like the radio appeal behind it, this is at least an attempt to kind of get some of that type of appeal, at least having like some relative conduct for like this cat particularly says that he's not as makeshift bound and as blue collar bound within those particular pitches, but it still has some good appeal, just like that relative commerce. If you do have like that particular fare, I mean within the pitch, obviously you probably would within the fare, but just the concept as far as saying just get just the standard day to day of just like the pitch, just something a little bit more within like more typical kind of Walmart run and just, you know, Walmart run and post office run, some of those type pitches just in the tone as far as those aspects can go. So it's a good type fare for that. Good type vanilla rap type song. Giving Out Smoke's another nice one on here. Appreciate this one. It's like a vintage kind of early 2010s drill and like a basic vanilla push. I'd have to say about this one, just a typical kind of hustle grind, I'd have to say here, and just some relative makeshift within the sense. So this is just one. Mine's definitely something Chief Keef, Waka Flocka would have done. Some of those type folks, Gucci Mane within a certain sense, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks, Yo Gotti. Giving Out Smoke just feels like a typical kind of mixtape type fare just within the basic conduct of it. So it's just good type of appeal for that. You probably heard, depending upon how much you know about the mixtape Datpiff era, you probably heard several songs that, depending upon how much you know about the mixtape Datpiff era as far as this pitch can happen, you probably heard several songs that are pretty similar within the fashion and just overall fare to Giving Out Smoke, definitely within those pitches. Just typical type 1 mixtape type format really works for that appeal. Ring Bells is a nice one here. This is like a shrill and haunting kind of ride out in like a regular night wind, I'd have to say within those fares. Excellent enjoy. Ring Bells like a shrill and haunting ride out in like a regular night wind enjoy as far as this pitch can happen with a good type fare for that, and it's like an excellent primer for some venue excited, I'd had to say within these fares, just within the tone behind it, and it's an overall hot song. Just in the pitch, so just a good conduct as far as those fares gonna go. So yeah, ring bells, just a pretty shrill type one within those pitches. Definitely kind of say here, just typical kind of waka flocka belly type fashion pitches like that. Typical kind of waka flocka belly type fashion pitches like that. I had to say Chief Keef and like is more back from the dead days and more of like Bang era, some of those type fares. He does do some of the ad libs that Chief Keef kind of does, like the bang bang that he kind of does. So some good type pitch, kind of get some of that similarities. So it's good type pitch, kind of have for some of that relative the same fashion. That's a good type pitch. Then I would say that Clockwork is a nice one. This says G Herb. Clockwork is a nice one. This says G Herbo on there, and like his old name as far as that was, just Lil Herb as far as this pitch kind of goes. Like a vintage kind of Lex Luger mixtape drill, kind of get here with like extra dark gnarledness that I had to say about this one. Kind of a cross between Waka Flocka and Chief Keef as far as this pitch kind of goes. So it's a good type tone for that. Same sort of fashion that you would get from like songs like any of those songs like Live by the Gun off of Flockabelly, some of those type ones, Bang and G-Check, some of those type pitches that you just remember from those particular eras. Good type tone for that. But also within the Chief Keef type pitches, some of his mixtapes like Back from the Dead and Bang and some of those type pitches as far as those first can go. So it's good type tone. It's really rooted. The concept about this product is it does not sell out and have like these watered down type ones, and even the more vanilla kind of makeshift type ones are really still within the fashion, just being in a more mixtape type format. It doesn't try to aim for having like an R&B singer or a pop single, some pop type feel. It doesn't try to aim for having like an R&B singer or a pop singer, some of those type feels. It just likes the makeshift grabs within the pitch. It just has aspect. It might have auto tune in there within certain pitches, but this has the particular tone as far as just getting towards like this more mixtape kind of like gloss as far as this first goes. It's a good type tone, but the Clockwork is just some more standard drill within the sense. It's excellent aspects there. Good Lex Luger beat within that. G Herbo, nice cameo from him. Over here is a nice one as well as like a darker lean kind of trap brew to kind of get within those pitches. Just some grand venue kind of ambience that I'd say. Just typical kind of dope night of gabs, smokage, and snacks as far as those first can happen. Whether it is just venue ambience or just a concept of like some snack runs and smokage runs with pals as far as those pitches can go. Just standard night commerce within some of those type pitches. Just night strolls, activity pitches like that. Just more residential bound, but also within the pitch, just like some local or just good type venue type noise within the pitch. So there's actually not a ton of ride around type songs within some of those type pitches. I noticed just within the fair behind, it's actually the conduct just a little bit more kind of out and about, just kind of similar type fashion, like how Chief Keef would kind of have like some of those and 36 Mafia, some of those type pitches. I mean, it does have the venue songs, but just within the pitch, just has some good conduct of just kind of. This is kind of more night commerce and like residential type fare within the pitch behind. So just very weaving and like an oozing type sense. Really like the appeal behind that. That's the nice tones. So Gangbang is a nice one as well. It's like a good young chop beat. It's like a further kind of red hot classic mixtape heat to kind of get here. Super young chop beat, like I was saying, just a syrupy snack run and smoke cut as far as this fare is going to go. So it's just some further late at night kind of heat as far as those aspects going to happen. Just some good snack run pitches like that. That residential fare like I was talking about. This real nice appeal. Young chop gives Fredo Santana definitely some boilers on here as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's a good type fare for that. Just standard kind of commerce and like a ghastly type sense. A good pitch for that. I would also say that Trap House is a nice one. It's like a glamorous kind of after work shift kind of night relief to kind of get within those fares just after like a solid grind. Trap House is like a glamorous kind of after work shift night relief after like a solid grind. It has to say here, just feel the breeze, definitely smoke a joint, some lake gliss as far as those pitch can happen. So this is a real kind of just plush type one within the pitch behind it. One of the closer ones like some pop rap type appeal within a pitch. It is something that's not quite as feral within a particular tone behind this kind of one. This is like a pretty nice cruise around within some of those type pitches. Be able to get just the concept of just like, all right, shit's done as far as those aspects kind of happen. Just a good type tone and just being able to relax a little bit. Just have the tone of just like some kickback, like a relative type sense as far as like, I mean, it definitely still has the concept of still being perked up within a sense as far as getting ready, not just going home and some pitches like that, but actually within the concept of just like just a grand song to let off some steam and just some primers for like the pitch of just like, all right, whether you just got paid or just some pitches like that, just kind of the concept of just like having some extra time to be able to have for like some thrills as far as this pitch can go. So it's a good type tone for that. Is that to say, I don't know if I talked about Came Up For Nothing, but this is a nice one here. This is kind of a trendy type one. This one's not as much rooted in like the full bound kind of mixtape drill type sense of 2011, 2012, but this is like a nice one here also. It's like a trendy kind of early 2010s drill and trap blend to kind of get here. It just reminds of like early Migos. I'd have to say an early Migos hit from like the Versace and Hannah Montana type days within some of those type pitches. I had to say, and it's like some IG life glitz to kind of get within those appeals. So just something, IG was kind of somewhat around back in like late 2013, early 2014, so it's just some good type of appeals that just like that standard glamour of just as social media started to spark up a lot more within those pitches, just within the tone, some good aspects there. It's kind of some of those blends that just some of those pitches of just the holla at like some IG bells and pitches like that, just the standard glamour, some of that type of pizzazz and pitches like that. So it's good type of appeal, just some of those initial type hits and some of that pizzazz about it. So that to say, I don't know if I talked about Wanna Nigga Dead, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one. I'm not as sure if I particularly talked about this one, but it's one of the most blitzing ones on here. It's like a Pharaoh kind of blitzing, early 2010s drill in like prime format. I'd say about this one, just some night fierceness, definitely a good song to get crunk to. It's pretty horrific in like a good sense, so it's good type tone for that one. So this is just a vicious type one to kind of get within some of those type aspects, but that's just the tone set for this particular album. So as far as this pitch can happen, these are just some immediate ones, but you should be able to dissect the ones that make a beeline for it, because most of this album, or this entire album, just is a real shot in the arm in terms of like the viciousness. So it's a good type fare for that. Just have to say here, She Down for me is a quality one. This is a more ladies bound type one. There are some ones on here like that. Like I would have to say, like I Don't Know About You is a little bit like that within the pitch behind it. I need to talk about that song. Playing with a Sax, kind of like that. Some of these type ones came up from nothing. Some of these type of appeals just within the pitch. Spaz out in like a certain sense, but just a good type tone for some of these pop rap type ones within a pitch. Kind of reminds of like a little bit more harrowed down. It reminds of like a little bit more melded down within the pitch. Just more typical kind of pop rap within a mixtape type format. So this is kind of like a basic early 2010s trap ladies jangle. Kind of get here, just a flashy kind of club step out with the bell as far as this pitch is going to go. Just some Friday outing fun as far as this pitch is going to happen. So just taking bells out and about for like some weekend type pizzazz is kind of the pitch of like that same sort of social commune within a pitch, just going out with like a, just more kind of with bells in mind, more so than homies within some of those type pitches. So it's just a typical type fashion, just kind of a little more, it's kind of a little bit more softcore type fashion within the pitch behind it. So it's a good type tone within those particular fares of it, good commerce and product of it as far as this fair is going to happen. Trap Boy is a nice one as well. It's like a stock pounding kind of drill shocker to kind of get here, just like I Don't Like from like Chief Keef as far as those fairs going to have the same sort of fashion within that particular fair. Good buzzing commotion, I'd say, and this is like some dark shrouds about this particular song. Good hit to kind of get within those aspects. So just good type tone for some of that particular product. Just the consistent type appeal, just a further type hit. This is kind of like an intro type song, but just nails it within the same type pitch, same sort of appeal that this particular album has in spades. So it's a good type aspect. Now the other song I was saying I didn't know if I talked about here, this like I Don't Know About You, is a good quality one as well. It's a little bit more commercial type one, just from the aspect. I mean, it didn't chart, but still a nice one to kind of have for like some more makeshift type fashion, like more workaday. It's like a stock quality kind of mixtape in between commerce, kind of get within those tones. This reminds of like some in motion kind of Pluto music as far as those pitches can go. As far as those pitches kind of go. If you don't know what I mean by Pluto, Future's Pluto from 2012, some of that type fare, just a concept like Future with some of those type cuts that he would kind of have in like more in between type fare. It's not like the trap heat of songs like Same Damn Time, Tony Montana, Magic Remix, some of those type ones, just within the particular aspect, but more the in-between type moments that just like kind of the hustle type grind, stacking money up, or just getting tasks done, responsibilities taken care of as far as those pitches can go. Just kind of some bustle just within the pitch, but just kind of, it's just in a more mixtape type format with just out the huge kind of chart pizzazz that Future kind of particularly had. So it's not to say like this doesn't have the appeal like some chart appeal, but it's just within more of the concept, a little bit more hardcore type sense. But it is a nice one that's very similar to Future, folks like that. I had to say Chief Keef in a certain sense. Now I don't know if I talked about Playing With a Sax, but it's another nice one here. I think it's the last one I haven't talked about within some of those type pitches I had to say. Playing With a Sax, like a good mixtape evening gym, kind of get within those tones. Just got done with tasks I feel like here, just feeling right, definitely good get supplies and outs, kind of get within those pitches as far as those fairs going to happen. Playing With a Sax, that same sort of after worship relief is like a song like Trap House. It's a real breezy type one, just kind of a little bit more of just kind of the concept, just a good type tone, having some smokers in your systems and pitches like that. It's a good concept to figure out to get crunk as far as those fairs can go. So it's just the pitch behind it. So yeah, this album's just thrilling wall to wall as far as those pitches can go. Good concept for that. 10 out of 10 score. Soldier score I'll probably give like a 9.5 out of 10, because the pitch behind it, this is a blitzing album. Every song in here I recommend, like I was saying, was just the pitch as far as saying that there's only one single. None of these songs really charted. It's just kind of within the conduct. It's basically like the Flockabelly album from 2010, just without the 4 singles to back it. I mean, it probably needed a song like No Hands, and it probably needed a song like Grove Street Party, some of those type pitches, or even a song like, I think it at least has like the Hard in the Paint type song on this particular album, but just in terms of like something like Oh Let's Do It, this probably need a little bit more promotion than it particularly got. It's a good type of appeal. I do see this cat kind of particularly as like Chief Keef slime as far as this pitch kind of went, as Chief Keef started to blow up a lot more throughout the early and mid 2010s, but it's just kind of the concept that, I mean, this is definitely, it has a street album aspect in spades. It's definitely a dynamite type album in a more traditional type fashion, like the mixtape kind of buzz type format. It's basically like a Datpiff-mixtape and just supersized and on steroids, but it's just within the pitch that you probably need a little bit more promotion, kind of have like this be anchored a little bit heavier. It's not to say full bound. I mean, this is a classic here. It's easy enough to kind of see that, but it's just within the pitch in terms of like the overall promotion, like the conduct, how recognizable it is, but maybe not be as much full bound. So, but it's within the pitch, still 9.5 social. In terms of the future, the unfortunate thing is Fredo Santana is deceased within those pitches. definitely an unfortunate aspect, but just for the tone, he does have plenty of mixtapes and some fairs like that. I think he has at least one other album is to be able to get to within some of those type tones. So we'll definitely get to some more of these, but this is a classic here, just like Flockabelly, just like Ferrari Boy, some of those type pitches out of the mixtape drill and Dat Piff era, some of those type fairs, so easy enough to recommend.